Welcome back everyone to a very sunny Evesham. I am the Evesham gamer, Teg, and I've got my new Felix the cat t-shirt on. Nice, isn't it? You can pick this up in Next. It's not bad at all. It's got a nice logo on the back as well. So I thought I'd just do something like a random Xbox 360 video, because quite frankly, from what I've been seeing of late, the Xbox 360 seems to have kind of dropped out of favour with a lot of people, especially a lot of the bigger YouTubes. I'd say people with at least 1,500 subscribers plus, you know, going up to the higher echelons and that sort of thing. And you know what? There's definitely a trend at the moment where the prices of Xbox 360 games are going down, back to somewhat of where they used to be. Obviously, there's a few that are still quite expensive. Some have gone up a lot more, but not many. And I wanted to take this opportunity to just go through a selection of games. I don't know how many's here, maybe 20, maybe a little bit less, maybe a bit more. A few kind of like oddities and some things I've been noticing about these games. There's one I think in here that's a pricey one, but other than that, they're not. I can't give you prices because I just go off the cuff on these sort of things. It's just much easier. You know, I do collect for Xbox 360, and those that watch this channel will know that. So, so without further ado, let's have a look. Let's have a little look at what we got here on this plethora of games. You know what? I'm going to add this as well. There is nothing wrong with the Xbox 360. It's a great console to collect for. There are some really good games, even if you just go for some of the, you know, sort of some of the decent shmups, things like Dodon Patchy and things like that. You know, it's worth having it at least for some of those games. I know there are a lot of them available on the PlayStation 3 as well, but you know, we're kind of living in an age really now where if you're still kind of like, well, I'm not playing that because it's this, you kind of need to pull your head out your ass basically. If if you're a collector, collect, and obviously collect for what you want to collect for. There's nothing wrong with going, I don't like that system. You see, I don't like collecting for PlayStation 3. I really have no interest in it. I do have one, and I do have a selection of games, but I certainly have never gone out of my way to get, once I went out of my way to get one game for it. So, you know, but like, for example, Neo Geo, well, if I had an interest in Neo Geo, I would go for that. I have no interest in Neo Geo, you know, so obviously it's down to the individual, but, you know, at least keep an open mind on things. I think that's the best way to put things. So, let's have a look, right? So, I mean, Disney games or Pixar games are certainly games that kind of keep their price, tend to fluctuate, tend to sit around about 10 quid to 15 quid, and a lot of them are a lot less than that. And you know what? They're actually quite good games. So, for example, Kung Fu Panda, Showdown of Legendary Legends. I think this, you know, I'm not going to mention prices because I'll just say they're cheap or expensive, but this is quite a cheap one, and it's actually quite a good little game as well. It's a side scroll. It was a sort of beat 'em up effectively. It's a side scrolling beat 'em up really, somewhat. I haven't played it for a long time. Let's scratch that. I don't know if it is a side scrolling beat 'em up. I don't actually think I've played that one. So, but you know, that's definitely one to pick up. That's a DreamWorks. One that not many people talk about. It's actually a really good little game. It's Night at the Museum 2. The video game. I think it goes under a different name in Europe, slightly different name, but it's still a good little romp. I enjoyed this actually. I've played about half of it, and it's quite good fun. I mean, some people think, well, you wouldn't catch me playing a kiddie's game. Roblox? Yes, talking to you. I know you've been playing Roblox. So yeah, watch yourself. The one here, which is, is this Disney? Don't say. I don't think it was Disney either or anything like that, but Open Season, the game. It's another kind of kids one, kid friendly, and it's actually quite good fun as well, you know, even for like a quick blast. Don't see anyone mentioning this, because these are games that you need to I think you definitely need to put in your collection if you're a collector for 360. Obviously, most of these are just going to be like, nah, not for me, but I don't see any videos talking about any of these games, which I've got here. a few of them, but not many. So there is one game, a paintball game, that is listed on the CEX website, and I don't believe there is a PAL version for it. I really don't. But it's a paintball game, and the only paintball game that I've found, and believe you me, this probably is not worth you picking up, but is Championship Paintball 2009, the Millennium European Paintball Series. I had a quick go at it. It's pretty janky, but it's still, you know, to try it out, it's not bad, and it's a cheap game. It's a cheap game, but it's quite uncommon. So you won't see many of these around, but they're definitely around. An expensive one, which has been mentioned by a few people of late actually, which is Iron Sky Invasion. Now, those of you that watch this channel will know that I have the Gotterdammerung Collector's Edition as well, but this obviously has gone ridiculously priced, as really. I mean, you're talking like, if you're on eBay, about 100 odd quid. I believe it's Kev, Access Area 6, has just put his copy, or at least one of his copies, up for sale. Whilst, you know, I wouldn't say this is, yes, it is a rare game, but bordering on uncommon, because it does come up. It comes up at least half a dozen times a year. So, but that one's for you big collectors out there. If you're going for a 360 collection, you're going to have that one. Another one of the Disney ones, so Disney Epic Mickey 2, The Power of Two. That's a good one. That's actually a good game. Cheap as well. Can't really kind of knock it, as it's quite a good game. It's a 3D platformer. This was an unusual one. I mean, I got this for £1 a while back, and it seems to be hovering around about the 20 quid mark. And that's Space Chimps, which is based upon the Vanguard animation. And it's actually not a bad 3D platformer, I have to say. You can see it on the front of that and think, well, that doesn't sell me. And again, it was just aimed at kids, but it's got some really good fucking mechanics in it, I have to say. It's actually quite good fun. But again, this is probably more for the collectors, as opposed to, I just want something to pick up and play. You know, it's the 360 itself, for me, is a great console. And there is so much software on there that you know, you can't really say that it's not a good system at all. It is a good system, and for the fact that it's very cheap to collect for, you know, you can have a decent sized library without spending too much money on it. And I'm not going to be bringing in all the big name games and any FIFAs or anything like that. No point. I'm not bringing any of that, because everyone has done that. You know, there's no need for any of that. But there are a few sports games, and one you should definitely check out is Baller's Chosen One. Now this is a very good basketball game. Effectively, think of, what was that game? Def Jam. Was it Def Jam New York? Something like that. But it's like that. But it's a basketball game. But you play as, like, you come off the street and you got to play against, I forget what they're called now. You have to play against NBA players who, and it's actually really, really good. It's made by Midway. So for Midway, can't argue with that. Midway make great games. They made an awful lot of good games, like NBA Jam, for example. So you know what you're getting with this. Thought I heard someone. Another one which is quite uncommon is Bejeweled 3. This actually comes with Bejeweled Blitz Live, Zuma, and Feeding Frenzy 2. It's all puzzle games, basically, that were Xbox Live Arcade. So to see a physical copy of it is actually quite uncommon. Not a cheap one. I think this is around about the 15 quid mark, so maybe something like that. One game that did go up to stupid prices, like 40, 50 quid, was London 2012 due to the Olympics. Well, that's now down to about 5 quid. I've seen it. No, I didn't pay anything. I was not one of those stupid people that jumped on that bandwagon. In fact, if you did, and you were planning to sell the game, yeah, you lost a lot of money on that. I mean, CEX again is absolutely flooded with these, but it is a good sports title, especially for the Olympics. So you've got multiple different games to play in it. I'd still recommend picking that one up. I think I've left it upstairs, yeah. But the PDC darts games, not this. This is actually good fun, but it's the other one. There's another one of this, and I forget. I only got it the other week. But these are good darts games. They are good for achievements as well if you're an achievement hunter. But they are very true to the game itself. So they are pretty cool. I have to say that. Another one which is cheap. This is a cheap one, Vampire Reign. So this is like a stealth action type game in 3D, a 3D stealth action game, and very underrated. It's not the best game in the world, but I don't see anyone talking about it. You know, it's like, why are you talking about these? Talk about the cheaper ones, you know, because that's what people want. They don't want people to repeat the same games over and over on different channels. There's no need for it. Get in there early. Now, horse racing games, as whether you're aware or not, are quite few and far between. This one's actually gone up to about 10 quid now. It was £1 for ages. That's Champion Jockey, G1 Jockey and Gallop Racer. Okay. I personally would say if you're going to get a horse racing game, you need to go for Far Lap on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox. I think it's on Switch as well. But for the sake of Xbox 360, I think this is the only horse racing game on the Xbox 360, I think. But that's like about 10 quid that is now, 8 to 10 quid. If you want a fun game for all your friends and family, you really can't go far wrong with Fusion Frenzy 2. Now this is the sequel to Fusion Frenzy, obviously, on the original Xbox. And this is a quid game. It's such good fun. You just can't really describe it until you play it. It's basically like let's say Mario Party, so you can describe it. It's a party game, and it's really good fun. And for a quid, why not get this? I love it. I just don't have any friends to play it with. Now, two games actually that were quite expensive for a while due to certain YouTubers were Blood Drive and Pimp My Ride. Well, both of these now are less than 10 quid. Right? Pimp My Ride is not what you think it is. It's actually a bit like a cheap man's version of Grand Theft Auto 3. And it's not bad. It's all right. It's definitely one of those games that doesn't require much or many brain cells. And Blood Drive is basically like Carmageddon. And this has been covered by a lot of people, so I'm not even going to go anything to that. One that I don't see anyone talking about at all is Omerta City of Gangsters. This one, I actually haven't played it, but it's kind of like top-down 3D. I guess you've got to go around and do gangster stuff. So, yeah, Omerta City Gangsters. I don't know how much that's going for. I really haven't got a clue. Speaking of, like I mentioned a minute ago, like party games, you can't go wrong with Trivial Pursuit, can you now, right? Trivial Pursuit. I used to play this with my mate, God rest his soul, Luke. Back in like 2008 and 2010, when I got him in one of his drunken stupids to get an Xbox 360, and I play it to this day, and it's great. And even on your own, it's quite good fun. Like with a lot of 360 games now, you can't get the DLC anymore, but there's plenty of content in this to have fun. So you can sit down with a family or a couple of friends and play it, and actually have quite a good time. Another game that's gone down significantly in price, it has gone down quite a bit, and then it goes up a little bit, which is Earth Defense Force, which one is it? Insect Armageddon. Well, if you want mindless fucking, you don't have to think, you just shoot. This is your game. This is something to waste a few hours on, basically. So, yeah, I quite enjoyed that. I actually got it because I saw Feed Me Chicken. He got it a while back. One that not many people talk about because, I don't know, it didn't seem to be that well received, but that's Ninja Gaiden Z, Yabu, or Yaba, rather. This one actually is actually really good fun. It's got a very, very distinct look to it, but I think a lot of people didn't like it because it went away from how Ninja Gaiden was or is, but it has got a Ninja Gaiden mode in it as well, so it's kind of like plays a bit more like Ninja Gaiden. This one doesn't come up very often. This is actually quite a very uncommon game, to be fair. That is Score International Barger 1000 World Championship Off-Road Racing. There's quite a lot of Barger games you can get for the 360. Like MX versus ATV is a Barger type game. That sort of off-roading sort of thing. And this is very much the same as those, really. Sacred 2 for an Angel, which, as far as I'm aware, is an RPG. It's not a bad RPG at that as well. Dirt cheap. You're out to yourself if you're 360 collection to get that. Try and whiz through these because I want to get to some Kinect games as well, believe it or not. Split second velocity. We all know about this one. Dirt cheap. One of the best kind of, let's call them Mario Kart-esque games you can get with real cars. You know, this one and Blur right up everyone's street. Get that one. I don't see anyone really ever talking about this either. That's Anarchy Reigns. This particular one is the limited edition. This is dirt cheap. I don't know if the code's in these, because you can still get this for about 15 quid now, sealed. But I don't know if the code still works for Bayonetta. This actually version comes with Bayonetta, but for Bayonetta alone, it's worth getting. And it's actually a really good beat 'em up, I have to say. I really enjoyed that. Not expensive. A lot of people have seen Stoked before, but they haven't seen Stoked Big Air Edition. Now this is actually, and I say it's cheap, it's about 18 to 20 quid on CEX and a bit more on eBay, but you can get like PAL versions from France and Germany from Amazon, etc., for like as little as 5 quid. Okay, it comes with all the additional DLC and it's got the English version in it, so you don't need to go and spend all the money, 20 quid or whatever in CEX or eBay just for this. But Stoked is actually a really good snowboarding game. It's what you would probably say is a snowboarding simulator. So forget like Amped and SSX, because those are arcadey. This is more like closer to real life, and it's actually really good fun. Crash Time 3 is the cheapest one of all the Crash Time games, but it's going up in price slowly now. Okay, which is probably going to happen, but I just thought I'd drop that one in there anyway. I don't have any of the other Crash Time games. As far as I'm concerned, when you've played one Crash Time game, you've played them all, and I have played them all. The WRC World Rally Championship games, so there's 5 of these, I think, on the Xbox 360. They vary in price, but my tip to you is you can get these, especially like 4 and 5, which are more expensive. Again, do your research on Amazon and eBay. You will find mainland Europe versions of these that are all got English in them for way cheaper than what they're being sold for the PAL versions. If you're a purist, you're obviously not going to do that. You're just going to stick strictly with PAL UK, but you don't need to. And this particular one, well, this one is actually UK, but my other ones, 4 and 5, for example, are actually German. Escape from Dead Island. If you're a Dead Island fan, you owe it yourself to play this. It isn't one of the best games, but it's really cheap, and it's got cel shaded graphics. What more do you want? I mean, it looks cel shaded. You tell me. I don't know. But anyway, and that leads us to the last sort of 5 I was going to mention anyway, which are the Kinect games. Now, Kinect is obviously not very popular with a lot of people, but it was at the time when it came out. And these games, well, some are actually relatively, I say, expensive if you're talking 20 quid at least. But I can't remember what the prices of all these are. But the ones that are more, let's just pop them out. There's 5 here, I think. So there's Power Rangers Super Samurai. Who doesn't want to be a Power Ranger? I mean, even as an adult. But this is actually quite a good Kinect game. I think it's about 10 quid. But it's common, bordering onto uncommon, which brings me on to Brunswick Pro Bowling. Now this one is getting a lot harder to find now. and it is a good bowling game. I have played this. It's worth picking up. This is sort of, you know, getting a bit more expensive now. I have seen the price creeping up on this one. Same as Kung Fu Panda 2, but the Connect version. So don't confuse this with the other Kung Fu Panda game that I mentioned. This obviously, as you can see, is a promotional copy, so, but I don't really care about that sort of thing. Even if it looks slightly different or slightly faded when you've got them lined up on the shelf. A lot of people haven't heard of this one. It's Cabela's Adventure Camp. Okay, this isn't what you think it is. It ain't a hunting game. It's basically loads of little mini games, basically, or 8 mini games, and it's getting harder to find. It's not a very common game, but it's still definitely worth a go if you've got a Connect. I think it's about 20 quid, so it's not a cheap game. This one, now you're gonna say, why do I want this, which is Nickelodeon's Victorious Time to Shine. Nickelodeon's Victorious Time to Shine. Well, this is actually, believe it or not, one of the rarer Xbox 360 games. Okay, now they very rarely come up on CEX. You might see one sold a year on eBay. They're a quid when they come into CEX. A quid if you're a collector, just to get it. That's purely for if you're going for a full set, or just you want something that's obscure, and this is probably one of as obscure as it gets for Connect. It's basically a singing and dancing game. So I think SingStar or something like that. What's that, Dance Revolution or whatever? Same thing. So there you go. So there's a few selection of Xbox 360 games that not many people have spoken about. I think you'll agree. So let me know what you think below. Let me know what you think of those games. I mean, yeah, there's a couple of big ones and ones that people spoke about, but a lot of those, I'll be surprised if you've heard about a lot of them. So anyway, hope you're all well. Take care. I'll see you on the next one. All right, take care. Ciao for now.